Hello students, today's agenda is to check homework. You will substitute expressions in functions and you will be able to do 6.3. Today's students will be able to substitute expressions into function notation and explain the meaning of it. So let me start with, you know what, I should have started with a warm-up. So if you can just add in here warm-up. And so make sure that you pause the video and work on it, because that way you can apply previous skills. And so I would like for you to find f of 2. Also, if you can find f of 0 and f of -2. And also I would like for you to explain what those mean. Okay? Okay, so hopefully you paused it and you are ready to check. So f of 2 basically just means that the 2 goes in here. F of 2 is equals to 5 times, also in here, -4. And so 5 times 2 is 10, minus 4 is equals to 6. What does that mean? F of 2 is that I'm gonna what I'm gonna get into, let's say if we're talking about money, I owe $4, I pay $5 every month. So in 2 months, how much am I gonna have in my account? $6 now. Okay, before I was in debt, but after 2 months I will have $6. So f of 2 means in 2 months, in 2 years, depending on what the word problem you would create, in 2 months. Okay, f of 0 is what I'm going to have in the present. So if I replace the x with 0 and 0 here, so that means f 5 times 0 minus 4. 5 times 0 is 0 minus 4, which is equals to -4. And in here it means in the present. And what happens in the present? I owe $4. Okay. F of -2 is 5 times -2 minus 4. And so that's going to be -10 minus 4. And so it's -14. And what does this stand for? Remember that when it's a negative, it's time in the past. So let's say if we're talking about months, 2 months ago, I owed $14. Okay, so that's what it would mean. Okay, so I want you to notice that when I have this new input for the total output, I'm replacing that in the x in here and also in the x in here. So that's very important, because that's going to be handy for this lesson. Now I would like for you to say, okay, what if I change it to, instead of f of x, f of w? Okay, and so this could possibly mean that, well, you're not talking about months anymore, but you want to change the terms to weeks. Okay, so when you change the variable, all you're changing is not every, like the cycles basically. How often it's happening is not every 2 months, not every month, but every week. Okay, every week instead of month. Okay, or you might say f of y to say every year. So that's what happens when you're changing the variable. Now let's do a little exercise. It says you have 4 shirts and you buy another shirt every month. Okay, so what would be the function? Okay, f of x will be equals to, you have 4 shirts, so that's what I have right now, my initial point, and you buy another shirt every month, so plus 1x. Now remember, this one you really don't need to write it down because coefficient 1 we don't include it in there. Okay, I'm just writing it so that you can identify and relate it to another shirt every month. Okay, now if you feel more comfortable you can just leave it in there, but that's up to you. So the input in here would be your x, which is the months, the number of months. The output would be the total shirts you have. Okay, and so in this scenario, let me show you, because this is going to be really handy for next unit. Whenever you have f of x plus 2, you're adding to the input, right? Remember that I told you before that this is the input and the total is the output. Okay, whatever is inside of the parentheses is the input and the total is the output. So we're adding 2 to the months. This means when you're adding to the months, that means that you're 2 months ahead worth of shirts. For some reason, you have you have the amount of shirts of 2 months ahead of the present, or in 2 months you're going to be with the shirts of 4 months. In 8 months you will be with the shirts of 10 months because you're 2 months ahead. Okay, so let me write that down. When you have f of x plus 2, you're adding 2 to the months, so you are, let me divide this so that you are 2 months ahead. Okay, and so if you have f of x plus 2, when you're adding 2 to the whole function, that means that you're adding 2 extra shirts to the total number of shirts. Remember, this is the total number, the output is the total number of shirts, so you're adding 2 more shirts to that. So you have 2 extra shirts. And this might mean that maybe on Christmas you got 2 extra shirts, and that's why you have those 2 extra in every month. You will have those extras. Okay, extra 2 shirts for. So you're just adding it once to the total, basically. What if you have f of 2x? So in here, you're multiplying 2 times the input. The input is the month. So you have everything twice as fast. Okay, you are buying everything twice as fast. Okay, so write that down. I'm running out of battery here, so I'm gonna see if I can connect it. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so what if I have twice f of x? In this case, it means that the grand total of shirts is gonna be doubled. And what does that mean? Let's say that your fairy godmother comes into your room, and that fairy godmother, after a certain number of months, says, I'm here, I'm gonna count how many shirts you have, and I'm gonna multiply that by 2. Okay, just a joke. It just means that you're doubling all the shirts that you have. So you are doubling everything. Okay, everything. Okay, so that's just to understand the definition of when you look at a function, what it means. You're going to be using this information for part of your assignment today. But another thing that you will be doing is substituting expressions into functions. Before you were just substituting number values, but now you're going to be substituting expressions. Okay, so if I have f of x is equals to 2x plus 3, what I'm going to ask you to do first is to substitute f of t. So you have f of x equals 2x plus 3. Now I want you to find f of t. All it means is replace the t wherever the x is. Okay, that's what it means. Replace the x replace the x with whatever is inside of the parentheses. So this and this is going to be replaced with whatever is inside of the parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to put my 2. Instead of x, I'm going to put a t plus 3. I cannot simplify anything else, so basically that's it. I'm done. I'm done with the first exercise. Now I'm going to do another one, and it says f of x plus 1. Again, I'm going to replace my x with x plus 1. So I'm going to write 2 times, instead of x, is going to be x plus 1 plus 3. Again, remember, all I did was to replace this where my x is. Okay, the 2 stays the same, the 3 stays the same. It's just where my x is, I put x plus 1. I do distributive property, and so it's going to be 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 1 is 2. Bring down the 3, combine like terms, and so it's going to be 2x plus 5. And so f of x plus 1 is equals to 2x plus 5. Okay, take a minute to write that down. what if I give you f of x plus 1? So I'm going to add one shirt to the total number of shirts that I have. So I'm going to get, notice how I'm not replacing anything because whatever the x is, I'm going to replace with the x. So basically that doesn't change. It just means that I'm adding 1 to the whole function. Okay, f of x is this. So I'm just adding 1 to that. Okay, so it's going to be 2x plus 3. That's my f of x. Plus 1. Okay, I'm just adding this at the end of my function. And so I combine like terms, which is 3 and 1. So my answer will be 2x plus 4. And again, this means I'm adding, so I have the shirts that I have, and I add one more. Okay, what if I have f of 4x? That means that I'm going to replace this because it's inside of the parentheses right there. Okay, it's going to be 2 multiplied by, instead of x, it's going to be 4x plus 3. All I did was replace this x with the 4x. The 2 stays the same, the 3 stays the same. And so the answer will be 2 times 4x is 8x plus 3. Okay, this 2 doesn't affect this one because it's not inside of the parentheses. And what if I double everything? When I double everything, you have f of x, meaning f of x is this whole thing, multiply it all by 2, double everything by 2. So I'm going to put everything inside of the parentheses, multiply by the 2, okay, doubling it. And so I do distributive property. 2 times 2x is 4x, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so when I double everything, now if you can see, I have twice as much. So that will be all. Just remember that when you're changing the t instead of x, it all means that instead of buying yourself 2 shirts every month, you're now gonna do it every day or every week or every 2 weeks. Okay, so you're just changing the time. When you're adding 1 to the input, you're 1 month ahead. Somehow you got 1 extra shirt one of those months, so you're ahead by 1 month. When you're adding 1 to the grand total, you got an extra shirt at some point from somebody. When you're multiplying by 4 inside, that means that you're getting everything 4 times as fast. Okay, and if you're doubling it, that means that you multiply your attire by 2. Okay, so I hope this helps, and now you can work on 6.3.